Hello, guys. Welcome to another edition of COVID Conversations. I am so excited about tonight. You know, I am a girl from Baltimore, Maryland, through and through. And in this town, we meet a lot of interesting people and people who really understand the plight of others. I heard something from a pastor, a bishop in Baltimore, Bishop Walter Scott Thomas of New Psalmist Baptist Church. He said, Baltimore is the only place in this nation where the word failure is embedded in your very existence. And with that said, we have to really activate to change that dynamic, that word failure that's in our existence. And someone who knows about rising to the top, and when we fall down, we get back up, is Pastor Jamal Bryant, the senior pastor of what church in Atlanta, Georgia?
It's only one, New Birth.
Only one? Okay. Well,
Yeah.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My
You look
brother.
gorgeous.
Thank you. I try to look cute for you tonight.
Obviously.
So for everyone to know, Jamal Bryant and I, Reverend Jamal Bryant and I are very good friends. We are very good friends. I'm like his big sister. He's my little brother.
Yeah.
His mother is a prayer warrior. His father will shake the timbers. And his sister is amazing. But, these are people who support and uplift. And his mother is a power warrior. What is wrong with your phone?
I
You can
don't
preach,
know.
but you don't know how to do IG. What's
I
wrong?
know it. My daughters aren't here to help.
But and Jamal used to toil in Baltimore. I'm gonna call you Jamal, but I
Please,
say
it's on
that
my
with
birth
respect.
certificate.
Yeah, I say that with respect, but I'm gonna say
Yes.
Reverend. But he is a warrior. Not only is he a pastor of the church, he used to be the youth director, the national youth director of the NAACP. Correct?
Yes. For
Yeah.
5 years, I came in under Mfume.
Yes, and Congressman Mfume is now
Congressman.
Congressman Mfume again. He was
Yes.
my first program director in radio in Baltimore at
Wow.
WEAM. Yeah.
Wow.
So Baltimore is a small, everyone touches everyone.
It's 6 degrees
Your
of separation.
No, it's a half a degree of separation for Black folks. So your chin, I need to see your
I
whole
know
face.
it. Hold on. Okay.
What is going on? He
Is
can
that better?
preach. He can preach. But Lord, he doesn't know IG.
I know it. Here I come. Hold on. Keep talking. I'm getting ready to
All
speak.
right, so we are talking tonight about a vast majority of subjects, subjects that affect the Black community, affect us, be it COVID, be it Breonna Taylor, be it Ahmaud Arbery, be it just our community, because we are a community with the highest numbers of negatives in almost every category. And Pastor Bryant has been out on the streets in Baltimore, the streets of this nation, and the streets of Atlanta now, trying to
Yeah.
give and support. And I see you with lines wrapped around your church giving away food right now in
Yeah.
Atlanta. What's the lay of the land in Atlanta right now? Because we had Mayor Keisha. When I call her Mayor Keisha, we don't have to put Lance Bottoms on it. There's
That's
only
right.
one mayor named Keisha.
Absolutely.
Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms. Give us the lay of the land of what's happening in Atlanta, as Georgia seems to be still the state that had the highest numbers
Yes.
in the nation so far right now at this moment with COVID-19. Give us the lay of the land.
When the pandemic started, Georgia was number 12. As of 2 weeks ago, we are now number 3. And it's because the laws have been so laxed here in Georgia. We opened before everybody else. And it's very disconcerting that you would open up massage parlors as essential, tattoo parlors as essential, nail salons as essential. I believe, April, with no data, that everything began to become more lax when they realized that it was impacting Black and brown communities more. We were in code red before that, but once that data started coming back, that people with melanin or pre-existing conditions were at stake, everything began to go backwards. And what I've been championing is if pre-existing conditions about your immune system and respiratory are at stake. You deal with obesity, you deal with hypertension, deal with diabetes. But here's the drum roll, April. If you're dealing with immune, you're dealing with HIV and AIDS. And
Mm,
Atlanta's the headquarters.
mm.
So the numbers are going to skyrocket in the next 2 to 3 weeks in our community. Isn't it amazing? You only had 2 Black people on the COVID-19 task force for the state of Georgia, Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms and Bernice King. When the governor made the decision to roll back to let everybody out, those are the only 2 people on the committee he did not call. And so, yeah, so it's
So
absolutely
that
great.
he already knew they were going to say no, or they said no.
Absolutely, yes,
And for those who don't know, Bernice King is the daughter of the late Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
yes.
She's an amazing woman, and she speaks her piece.
Oh,
Oh
yeah,
my God, she speaks it so eloquently in that fervor and that tenor of her father. But she lets you know where she stands. So the governor, did not call those 2.
he did not call them. So to have 2 Black women at your disposal and not take advantage of it. Here is the belligerent recklessness that
Mm.
people forget about. April, the CDC headquarters is in Atlanta.
Say it again.
The number one school that studies pandemics is Emory University,
In
and he
Atlanta.
didn't consult them. And so for him to then confess, I don't know if you saw it today, that they played with the numbers to look like we were making progress, and he got busted, is absolutely unimaginable. I had to do 2 virtual funerals last weekend.
So you say that when they played with the numbers, you've got a president of the United States who's not even looking at the CDC,
Yes,
the
yeah,
Centers for Disease Control,
yes,
the nation's leading health organization, along with the NIH. He's not paying attention. The National Institutes for Health. He's
yes,
not paying attention to this. And that today, as we've heard today, and this is not myth, this is not conjecture, this was
right,
out our own president's mouth.
yes.
For the last 10 days, the president has admitted today that he's taking hydrochloroquine.
That you can't find nowhere.
And why is he taking this drug that they initially thought, well, he was initially saying that was a salvo for COVID-19. And indeed, they found it's not the truth. People were dying from it. But he's saying that he's taking it.
April, I'm going to connect you this week. I know your schedule is crazy. A
Crazy.
pastor called me from Nigeria
Mm-hmm.
saying that they are now getting ready to mandate all Nigerians to take the vaccine.
Wait a minute, take the vaccine. Take the vaccine.
Yes, that they're experimenting on. Nigeria doesn't even have high numbers. I told him, I need you to talk to somebody who got more influence. I don't know what to tell you what to do or how to ring the
The
alarm.
vaccine, you don't even know if the vaccine is hurtful or harmful, but he wants to.
Welcome to Tuskegee.
Whew.
Welcome to
And
Tuskegee. We right back at it.
and that has been a concern. People have said, look, just because they get a vaccine doesn't necessarily mean it works on everyone. We are a community that is totally different. Our numbers when it comes to creatinine levels are different from creatinine levels, your
Yes,
levels for your kidneys.
yes,
Our numbers are sometimes higher than white America.
yes,
We have other diseases that we are more prone to than other communities, like diabetes, heart disease, cancers, so asthma,
right.
high blood pressure.
Yes.
So they could be testing certain people who don't have certain diseases or not look like us. And they go, this is crazy.
It's insane. I've never seen anything like it. Never seen anything like this. Is the hour where I'm saying to pastors, pick your issue.
Mm.
You said you don't want to march? Great. We can. You said you don't want to hold up a picket sign? Okay. So pick your issue. Deal with the digital divide. That young people in public schools in Baltimore and Atlanta are being promoted to the next grade with no proven proficiency.
Mm.
That they haven't been able, our children are able to have access to tablets and computers. But most of the children, we got 8 million Black and brown children in public schools who are going on to the next grade who have not proven that they're able to perform.
And a lot of them were behind already
Yes.
before this happened. So they're going to advance anyway. And it's unfortunate. You and I both have kids, and
Yes.
we're going to be, disclosure, in private
Yes.
school.
Yes.
That my kids, and I heard your kids, are
Yes.
learning online every day. They have
Absolutely.
class.
8 to
But
3.
unfortunately, all day they are in class on school. But unfortunately, the public school kids, a lot of the public school kids just got online last week.
Wow.
A lot of them, it's crazy.
Wow.
The haves have and the nots not.
Yes.
It's ridiculous. There's such inequity. There were already cracks in the foundation, and now you're seeing the foundation shaking, crumbling. The house is falling down.
I said the other day, April, that America has been wearing a mask, and now it's being exposed in every level. When you deal with the amount of minority businesses that didn't get stimulus support, when you look at the underserved of testing within our communities, you talk about the digital divide, you talk about the health divide, when you deal with somewhere in the orbit of 30 million Black people are on unemployment. This is really, Malcolm X said it best, when America gets a cold, Black people catch pneumonia.
I'm going to tell you, we're on life support now. Let's revise that. We're on life support.
So imagine
when they get a cold, we're on life support.
If Mark Moriel's report is right, that the average African American is 2 paychecks away from finding themselves in abject poverty, and we've been out for 8 weeks. What does that mean? So you talked about, in introducing me tonight, us having lines of cars around the church. I just started our food pantry in January with no idea of a pandemic. In January, April, we were only giving out groceries to 300 families, here's the drum roll, a month. Now we're doing 1,000 a week. So since this quarantine, we've had to give groceries to almost 10,000 families. And so when you deal with...
and that's just in Atlanta, the Atlanta area.
That's just the Atlanta metro. You haven't even gone to rural Georgia.
And these people, are these people your churchgoers?
No.
Or you opened it up to the community?
No, they are just out there. Our brother Frank Ski been announcing it for me. Ricky Smiley been announcing. So they're coming from up to an hour away.
If you're hungry, you will crawl an hour away.
Listen, and it's getting ready to get worse. When you look at Neiman Marcus filing bankruptcy, AMC movie theaters, J. Crew, J.C. Penney announced just before I got on with you, 264 stores closing.
Pennies? J.C. Penney?
Yes.
Oh my God. But and that's the crazy thing. You know, luxury brands. I mean, we all like nice things.
Yes.
But some of us more than others like to go with the red bottoms. You know, you and I laugh about the red bottoms. Yes. You know, and the Hermes and all that, the Louis and the Gucci's. Those used to be called recession-proof brands. They used to be called recession-proof brands. And let me say, don't forget your Coach, because they said Coach always made it through.
I'm going to give you heart palpitations. Friday, Lord & Taylor filed bankruptcy.
I knew.
April, on Fifth Avenue. Can you imagine that? On Fifth Avenue.
Oh, God. So, and this is what I'm saying. You're hitting every socioeconomic level, the luxury brands. And this is translating into why the president wants to open up the economy when people are still dying and hurting. When you have luxury brands like this, the people who support him filing for bankruptcy, that's when the internal numbers at the White House for re-election dive down. They go down, they drop. And you have Karl Rove running in there. This looks bad. You are not winning.
It is America consistent of putting economy over humanity. And it goes back all the way to slavery. They didn't care who was raped, who was murdered, who was pillaged. We got to get cotton up out the ground. And so we're seeing that same shifting getting ready to happen again, that money is the only thing that matters in this nation. Yeah,
and someone just said Tesla. Tesla is going back into manufacturing.
Wow.
Tesla. Um, and that's what is it, $120,000 car? Who's
Yeah, yeah.
luxury brand?
Target.
So here's the deal. The president, and let me give you a little understanding about what's happening. What Pastor Jamal Bryant is talking about in Atlanta is happening throughout this nation. We're just not hearing about it because now the president, the White House, 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, and I speak from authority from this
Yeah.
unique perch that I have had
Right.
for 23 years and will
Yes.
continue to have and still in, although I'm in another place at home because
Right.
I don't want to get COVID at the
Right.
White House.
Right.
They are trying to create a win. They're saying it's a win because economies are opening up. Pastor Jamal Bryant just said they're fudging the numbers, playing with the numbers.
Yes.
These states are opening up without following the CDC guidelines of how to open.
Yes.
So it is critical and you said something so strategic and succinctly. You said that when you open up, you open up, people kind of get, they feel okay. It's not okay. We are still in a pandemic. Texas is seeing numbers spike again. They
Yes.
just had a major spike in numbers. So
Yes.
guys, if you want the Jordans in Atlanta, if you want to go to the mall, go online and get them.
Please. Please. What I've
I'm
been,
not saying nothing against
if you
Michael
got
Jordan. I'm
your
just saying go
stimulus check,
online, be safe.
right. What I've been arguing for our people to do is if you get that stimulus check of $1,200, spend 200 of it with a black business. A third of our black businesses are not going to survive. And so we've got to learn how to circulate our dollars and to be intentional about economic development. This is going to be the season for innovators and entrepreneurs. Everything that we know is going to be completely different from the church on down. April, I still can't find anywhere. What do we do in the future about baptism? Yeah, I'm not getting in no water.
I'm not either, even if it's chlorinated. But but the thing, yes, because when you're dipping the person, they're breathing in your face.
Yes.
And open mouth, open nose. We are learning, and that you might need to teach us something tonight because that's going into the church. We talk about going to the building. You talked to me a couple of weeks ago about how you're going to have church when you reopen, because you said you're not reopening anytime soon, right?
No, no.
Okay. You're following the CDC guidelines, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. So get that out there. But many of us who missed the church house, I mean, I'm watching online, but many of us who missed the church house, we need to learn how to administer our own communion if we have been baptized. And
Yes.
what if, like for me, I have a child, my oldest, well, both of them want to go, they want to be baptized. What do? They want to be baptized.
Yeah, that we have to put it on pause. The reality is, April, I am afraid that the church has, and when I say the church, I don't mean New Birth or New Psalmist. The church, the black church, has blood dripping from its hands because it is exposing that we have not done the appropriate structured teaching. Isn't it amazing, April? You are going to do no COVID conversations asking the imam at the mosque not to open. You will do no conversations with the rabbi asking him not to open. The church has not taught mindfulness, taught meditation. We've not taught the power of solitude. All we know is fellowship. And I think part of our responsibility is finding out that being home should not be a penalty. This is the miseducation of the Negro, is that you feel like you are being punished by being with the people you claim to love. D.L. Hughley said something a couple of weeks ago that messed me up. He said, our grandparents' greatest sacrifice was fighting in a war, and our greatest sacrifice is having to sit on a couch. If you can't sit on the couch with the luxury of Netflix and Uber Eats and Amazon Prime, you got to go sit down somewhere. And I think that this is going to be a test that really stretches everybody.
You're preaching. We're talking to none other than Pastor Jamal Bryant, the senior pastor of New Birth Church in Atlanta, Georgia.
Yes.
And he's preaching. I mean, we're having service without being in the building.
Right.
And I want to, and let's put it out there. And yes, full disclosure, I'm very good friends with him,
Yes.
and his family.
Yes.
So if you got something to say, if you got something nasty to say, we ain't paying no attention to it because I know who he is and he knows who I
Yeah.
am. But I love his activism and his wisdom and who he is and who he has been.
Right.
And let's be real clear. You were one of the churches when this started. You stayed open because I remember the
Yes.
weekend of March 14th, and I remember it all so well because I was supposed to have a birthday party at my house for my boyfriend, and
That's
I
right.
didn't.
That's right.
And then, and I didn't, and I saw that you were on, and I was like, you were open. I said, ooh. So
Yeah.
talk to us about that. Where did the switch come for you?
I really didn't understand the magnitude of it. I drank the Kool-Aid with a straw. I say, oh, this is gonna pass. Maybe we'll be down for 2 weeks, and then I saw those numbers growing. Um, our sanctuary, April, holds almost 8,000 people.
Yes, it
And I,
does.
this cannot be an incubator and a hotbed for this to happen. I went kicking and screaming. The reality is,
Yes, you
all
did.
of us are amateurs in how to deal with a pandemic.
Yeah.
Nobody has lived through this before. I had no idea of how the impact. You remember, and people forget when this first started. Black people was high-fiving each other, saying it don't impact black people.
Yes. Oh my God. Black people or children.
We like,
And people.
oh, this is finally karma is coming back. We are saved by the bell. Our melanin done saved us.
And remember the little church song that they did, wash your hands.
Oh
And it was
yeah, we
singing.
were
I
doing.
was like,
I posted it
so
because
you
we
don't
thought
get
it was over.
corona.
I never in a million years thought I would be out of church Easter and Mother's Day.
But the president wanted us back on April 12th, remember? That was
Yes,
Easter.
yes, yes, and you just can't do it because it's just going to be funerals everywhere. And so I just caution everybody to sit still. Don't rush to die. Be
Mm,
patient to live.
that's amen, preach. So talk to me about the strategy that you're kind of working out now
Yes,
when church does when your church doors open. And I'm going to say this. I've been trying to get to your church,
yes.
New Birth, but I've been to your church. And let me tell you, when I was there for the funeral of Coretta Scott King.
Wow.
Yeah, with all the presidents and
Yeah, I
everything.
was there.
Yeah, the day that Jimmy Carter, remember when Jimmy Carter went in on George W. Bush
Oh,
and
yes.
Bill Clinton had to stop the fight in front of the casket? I was like, oh my gosh. But it's true. It
Oh,
happened.
yeah.
It happened.
Yeah.
But that was a magnificent funeral, sending timber up for this wonderful woman who stood by this world changing man.
Yes.
But
Yes.
and it's a huge church. I
Yes.
mean, it's a huge church.
So what we're doing is we're starting something now, but we're going to begin Memorial, not this weekend, the last weekend, we're going to do drive-in church. Our parking lot holds 3,000 cars. So yeah,
Like a drive-in movie.
like a drive-in movie. We're bringing in jumbotron screens and sound systems.
I'm proud of you.
The,
That's
the
amazing.
FM radio station is going to broadcast it live, so you don't even have to roll down your window. And so it's going to be something. We're going to try that out for a while, but I'm not rushing to go in that building.
Wow. For you to have, okay, you have a parking lot, a lot of churches. Now, you know Baltimore, a lot of the churches on the street with a bunch of row houses and stuff.
Yes.
It's not going to, you can't do that, but
You're going to have to do streaming.
wow.
You're going to have
Wow.
to do streaming and figure out novel and innovative ways. Here's the amazing thing, April, nobody's paying attention to. Hollywood is in crisis because they have no shows for the fall. They haven't been taping. Watch this. No shows, no game shows, no talk shows. So they're trying to figure out how to do independent content and new content to download. So churches are going to have to be innovative. Come on,
COVID
it's the
conversation.
April Ryan show. It's the April
That's
Ryan.
right. That's right. Preach
I'm
it into
speaking
existence.
into the
Get your mother to
atmosphere.
pray for it. Get your
Yeah,
mama to pray for it.
absolutely. She can get it done. Don't trust mine. If we get ready to do it, heaven will answer. They're going to walk right past.
Yes.
But April Ryan show will be absolutely amazing. And if people want to know where is the truth, the Bible says that people die, here it is, from a lack of knowledge. And it is the lack of knowledge that is going to destroy America. We've been chanting for years, we are number one, and we finally got there. We number one in deaths. We did number one in testing positive. We're number one in the working,
Not getting tested, not getting tested.
not being tested. And so what it is that you do is so critical and so important. And that's why people trust you so much, because so much of news has become propaganda, but you stand by it.
I so appreciate you. Now I'm going to go back into the church situation for a minute. Everyone is talking about, people are quietly saying they don't want to say this, but Pastor Jamal Bryant, Pastor Jamal Harrison Bryant, let me say this. The weather is not the same. It's supposed to be warm and it's still it's cool. I don't know what it is down there, but it's cool here.
Yes.
We got COVID. We got killer bees. One pastor said to me, he said, you know, when these kind of things happen is when the Lord doesn't like leadership. I said, ooh. People are talking quietly about this. Is this a religious thing, or do you think that it's just coincidence? Everything just lined up.
Yeah, I don't think it's coincidence. I think the earth has been waiting to exhale. The oceans are clearer. You're hearing more birds than you have heard. Is not all of the fumes and the toxins. The factories have shut down. And so the earth is having a collective sigh. Biblically, every 7 years, you're not supposed to plant anything. You're supposed to let the earth rest.
Yeah.
We've had the earth to rest. I don't believe that this is, as many will proffer, this is not the end of the earth. I don't think God is coming back on 4th of July weekend. I think that we're in a process that we all just need to decompress, need to unplug. And the earth is finally able to do that. Al Gore has been championing about global warming and has been warning us about it for years. This administration has completely ignored him. And we could talk about environmental justice till the cows come home. But I think that this is just the earth responding that finally there's no shovels in the ground. Finally, no chemicals are in the lake. Finally, there's water coming close to Flint, Michigan, even though it ain't in the pipes. So I think that the earth is trying to press its own refresh button.
So you said the earth is waiting to exhale. Shoot, shoot,
Yeah.
shoot. You know, waiting to hell. Whitney Houston
I gave
song.
you
I'm
an
not.
easy layup on that one. Yeah.
So let's go back to Black-owned businesses. You have been going out supporting Black-owned businesses, and we know that many of the businesses did not receive. Many of the minority-owned businesses, and the women-owned businesses did not receive PPPs. That money to help them stay afloat from the federal government. We know that major corporations receive the money, not small businesses, particularly Black-owned businesses and women-owned businesses. What are you seeing in Atlanta in reference to this? Are you seeing a lot of businesses closing already, or are they starting to get the money? Because we know that they were telling our people to go to the credit unions, going to the community banks versus going to the major banks like Bank of America and Wells Fargo and all the bigger banks. What are you seeing and hearing?
I got a restaurant for my daughters last year when I came to Atlanta, and I had to close it down 2 weeks ago.
Oh, wow.
I had upwards of 50 employees. I couldn't get any stimulus support, and it was just failing miserably. And we had to tell them, listen, I want you all to thrive. I want my daughter's business to be able to thrive, but the environment is not such. So what I'm talking about is not data, it's not statistics. I'm living it firsthand of what this feels like. Don't forget that Atlanta is the new Harlem. This is the Harlem Renaissance is Atlanta. Every person who's got an idea and a dream, they're not going to LA, they moving to Atlanta. There are more per capita Black entrepreneurs in this region than anywhere else in the nation. And so you're having to be industrious and find a way to keep your head afloat because you're not getting the support you need. And then it drags us, April, into an ethical, moral dilemma that I have as a pastor and a businessman. That for the last 2 months, Cheesecake Factory has not paid rent and said openly they're not paying rent until the
That's
malls.
true. They did. They sure did.
Yes. Yeah. So morally, ethically, what do I tell the entrepreneurs who go to my church? Yeah. You understand? So it's a whole trickle down that people are not really evaluating of what the full impact is going to be. I think that we're getting ready to see the second Great Depression, what we went through in '08 and '09. Just going to scratch the surface. If we've had somewhere in the orbit, you would know the numbers better than I. What is there, 40 million on unemployment now?
It's about that, yeah. In the
Yeah,
last few
40
months,
million.
yes.
Yeah,
That's depression numbers. Those are depression. This is not a recession, and they are
yeah.
not calling it. They have not put the fact on it. We are in a depression. We are depressed, not
Now,
just emotionally, but our pockets are depressed.
I'm going to turn the table. I need to ask you a question.
Yes.
My own conspiracy theory that I can't even sleep about at night. If mega churches can't come together, if Disney World is closed indefinitely, if Boston University has already announced no classes in the fall, they are not resuming until January. Here's the question, April, you got to ask me. It's a two-part question. How would there be a Democratic convention? And if the second wave comes in September, October, will there be a pushback in the election?
So let me say this to you. Okay, I hate when people turn the tables on me, but okay, I got this. I got this. So, you trying to be April Ryan? You
No,
think
no,
I'm
no.
Sarah
Listen, I
Huckabee or something?
followed you. I've been following you a long time.
I know, no. But seriously, at this point, to be honest with you, they're trying to work out. They're going to have to do something virtual, because how can you, in earnest, have a convention, a Democratic or Republican convention? Well, let's say Democratic, because Republicans are trying to open up everything, and let's see if they're going to go somewhere and meet physically.
Yeah.
But how can you earnestly have a convention when you're trying to figure out if you're going to go to the polls or mail in for November?
Yes.
And then you're still seeing spikes. So we're in that window, and everything is kind of a let's wait and see. Right now, 48 states now have some kind of open economy.
Wow.
We are now in that window, and Texas did it, and they spiked. And it's not just because of the meat processing plant either, but they spiked, the numbers spiked. So we're in that window of 5 to 12 to 14 days that if something happens, because people have been out in the streets now.
Wow.
People have been going to the swimming pool and everything. And if there are spikes, they may say, come back in. So they're trying to test this, but it's still here. And it's changing. You got kids having syndromes and stuff. So right now, what they're doing, they're trying to be cautious and be mindful of health, but also keep the process going. So I believe the process will go without being in the physical place. Joe Biden is the presumptive nominee. End of story. Now the issue is who is his pick for VP.
If he does not pick a black woman, will he still carry the black vote?
You know what? I'm glad you said that, because I had a conversation today. You know, our friend Angela Rye.
Yes.
And our friend Angela Rye and some others did that powerful ad in the Washington Post. I get it. I get what they're saying, and they're trying to persuade Joe Biden to pick a black woman. But I was told by someone in the know that they are not. They don't have that power to do that. They said the issue is picking the best person for the job. Right. April Ryan will not be VP. Thank you for that, but I'm not doing it. I don't want to be in politics. But an issue is, someone said, did a black woman carry a primary? Did they win a primary? And that is a real issue. They want the best person, but you got to remember, these are sensitive times for our community. Yes. And it's got to be someone, be it black, white, Jew, Gentile, Protestant, or Catholic, that is sensitive to our situation. We are the daggone base of the party as black people.
Yes.
I'm not saying what my politics are, but when you have a party that is allowed on the other side, that's allowed for racist comments from the President of the United States.
Right.
S-hole nations.
Yes.
Calling me out my name, calling Yamiche out her name.
Yes.
And calling Ouija out of her name. It's ridiculous.
Obscene.
Not just that, just the things that he's done. Charlottesville, it seems like they have allowed it. So where's the Democratic Party? They've got to be sensitive. Joe Biden said the reason why he stepped in is for the heart issue of Charlottesville.
Wow.
So if it's a heart issue, you better make sure you have heart with the Black community, because if you don't pick a Black woman, I do believe there's going to be a concern, because they're raising the question up again. There's concern, but you cannot, no matter what, you cannot sit out.
No.
Period.
No.
You got to go vote. You got to hold them accountable, but
this
you got to
crazy
go vote.
first term, that second term is going to be Ringling Brothers. There's no way we can do another 4 years of this. No way in the world.
I can't take it. My pressure's gone. I can't take it anymore. I'm like, look, I got enough to deal with. I said, I can't add COVID. I said, I'll see y'all later. I can't. It's too much.
No,
It is too much. You guys see it from there, but imagine being in it every day. It's a lot.
I don't want to be that close.
Giving you evil eyes.
I'm praying for you daily. I can't imagine.
I mean, I go in a room and he'll give me an evil eye. And then I'll ask him a question. He's like, that's a great question. I know, I've been doing this for 23 years. You the one new to this. I've been here.
Right. You are a consummate professional. And you've been a lady. Thank you for that.
I try.
No,
so I digress. See, this is what you do to me. I digress. But what should we so the issue is I don't think people really need to be concerned about a convention. They need to be concerned about voting.
Yes.
And because every states are responsible for voting. And if you have to go to the polls, if they make you, this is another form of voter suppression. If you have to choose between your health and a vote, you better make sure you stay away from people, and you have your mask and your gloves on. And when you get home, you take you have your hazmat suit. If you got to make your own homemade hazmat suit with the garbage bag and the like that lady in on the TV news story had her little bags around her head, her hands, and her feet, so be it. Because you might see me doing that. Because I'm gonna tell you, too many people died for us.
Oh no, I'm going to the polls, hook or crook. Yeah, I'm gonna try to vote absentee or vote early vote. But you got to be smart with this, guys. Look at the options that where your vote will count before you think about going to the polling place. But go vote no matter what. Please, like your life depends on it. It's non-negotiable. Non-negotiable. So I hope I answered your questions. No, you did. Thank you. This is my show. I asked the question. I'm sorry. Thank you. Now back to April Ryan. Okay. Yes. Now back to April Ryan. So at the end of the day, with all of that said, what would you tell our people who you have advocated for, who you've marched for, who you have prayed over? In the midst of trials, I mean, all of that stuff, that you were doing in Baltimore with Freddie Gray, all of that stuff with all these other situations, you were out there during the Obama years with Al Sharpton. What do you say to Black people? I remind Black people that Donald Trump did not get elected by the people who voted for him. He got elected by the people who didn't vote. Because of the mass number of our people who did not go to the polls on that day. That's how he got into office. And so every person who has an issue, complaint, and a gripe, I don't want to hear it if you're not going to the polls on that first Tuesday in November. Everybody always asks themselves, what would they do had they been alive during the time of Dr. King? This is that time. This is going to be the greatest moment in modern history to shift everything. And you've got to be able to say to your unborn grandchildren, I was a part of the solution to correct the wrongs and put the nation on track. Correct the wrongs and put the nation on track. Articulate the wrongs. I mean, we're seeing what happened not far from you, Brunswick, Georgia. Yes. Ahmaud Arbery. Breonna Taylor. Yes.
and the list goes on. And there seems to be more police involved or vigilante involved abuses and killings in this moment, in this COVID moment or around it. What is that about?
It is the exposing of the cover-up. You and I have been on at least 2 to 3 interviews about our shock in the uprising of Freddie Gray. That Baltimore had been suppressed so long that it finally got time for the percolator. It was just it was our breaking point. And I think what you're seeing now is that the Band-Aid is being pulled off in every direction. And so when we move forward, you got to understand that the wrongs are happening. Philosopher Richard Niebuhr said, government will only do what the people allow it to do.
Yeah.
And so we've got to really speak truth to power to say, we can't do this. This is not palatable. It's not permissible. I'm not going to turn a blind eye. I don't have another cheek. Is that our weapon of choice, April, has got to be that phone. The reality is we would have never known about Ahmaud if it weren't for social media. And so this is the activist weapon of choice, is that you've got to record it. Don't just look at people fighting each other on World Star Hip Hop and look at what is the latest gossip on Kanye and Beyonce. Find out how it is that you can impact your community and really do some stuff at a grassroots level.
But Jeff Sessions changed the rules.
Yes.
Jeff Sessions, Obama and Eric Holder were dealing with this issue. Jeff Sessions came in this administration and changed the rules. But you know what? They had the video on Ahmaud Arbery.
Yes.
But it took us to make the noise. And that's where that comes in.
Yeah. So I read somewhere on social media that Ahmaud's killers were arrested not because they saw the tape, but because we did.
That's right.
And when we mobilize and collect our voices, we are unstoppable, undeniable force.
Black Lives Matter, guys. I mean,
oh, yeah.
And I think all lives matter. I believe all lives matter. But I'm going to say this to you. When it's open season on us, when they hunt us down like we're animals,
yes.
Other people been going. Have you seen the videos with other people going into that construction site?
Yeah.
You
Yes.
can do that to them.
It's two Americas. You know, what's it? W.E.B. Du Bois said the question of the 20th century was going to be the question of the color line.
That's right.
And here we are at 2020 in remedial class, still not having that question answered. So it's a critical juncture in our history and for the nation.
And we have to use critical thinking. We have to this is the 50s and 60s over again. You know, our grandparents weren't driving Teslas. They fought. They wore their Sunday best to the march.
Yes.
But you know, we forget to march because we got the red bottoms on. We're driving Teslas. We live on houses here. We forget.
Well, part of it, April, is we thought with the election of Obama, we thought we were in a post-racial society. We really believed that America's original sin, which was racism, had been pardoned and we had advanced to a whole nother place. The reality is they have now taken off their hoods and put on Brooks Brothers suits. It is more sophisticated because you're not fighting individuals, we're fighting a system. There was a system and a culture of corruption in Brunswick, Georgia. That they knew exactly what the culprits were. They knew what happened, like, oh, that's our guy. You ain't got to pursue that.
Say that again, because they all knew each other.
Yes.
They were connected. That father, that retired police officer knew the DA. They brushed it aside. Just another black man. Just another black man. Didn't matter.
Yeah. And it would not have if it took 3 months for action to take place. And let me resoundingly say to every person, don't confuse a charge with a conviction. This is not the end. This is
justice has not been served yet.
And one of the issues, April, that millennials have with the civil rights movement is they keep telling us to be patient, slow down, pipe down, and they don't realize, April, the Black Lives Matter movement has had no legislative victories. The killer
Trayvon Martin, they got the attention, but did not leverage the moment.
Hey, listen. This is the moment where we got to shift, especially in this election year, from protest to policy. The reality is King would not have been who he was if it weren't for Thurgood Marshall. It's not a good speech. It's got to be a good law behind the speech.
Yep.
And if we don't get that, we're going to keep getting lost in the emotional moment.
You march and you got
structural damage.
Yeah, you march, you got the law behind you, but you also have to learn how to leverage.
Wow.
You can't. Shirley Chisholm said, if you don't have a seat at the table, bring a folding chair.
Right.
So, and if you don't know who Shirley Chisholm is, shame on you. Look her up.
Right.
Before Kamala, before Carol Moseley Braun, before all of them.
Maxine Waters, all of them.
There was Shirley Chisholm.
Yeah.
1972, the first Black woman to run for president of the United States.
Yes.
She said being a Black woman was a double whammy, and she ain't said nothing truer than that. So look, so when you have your folding chair at the table, the issue is don't just sit at the table, be a part of the game, learn the game, own the game.
Yes.
We're not just happy, oh, I got a seat at the table. Oh, wow, I'm here. I must be, and shut up. Bring something.
There's nothing worse than being at a restaurant with somebody who doesn't know how to order. Roland Martin says you have to have an ask. So many Negroes are just glad to be at the table.
I want more.
They're sipping on free water. You got to say what it is. Here's the issue. Both of us come out of HBCUs. The reality is a third of our HBCUs, April, are going to be in trouble in the fall because the students will not qualify for the Pell Grant because their parents been laid off. That freshman class is critical for keeping these HBCUs open. So there's a whole lot at stake. So if they don't open till January, hypothetically, so take our daughters off of it and consider what then happens for young people who don't have a support mechanism, who don't have a base, who don't have a push, who are trying to do it. I raised up to men. What do we say, April, to young boys who were only going to school for athletics and the athletic department is canceled?
Shut down.
Yeah. So it's a whole shift that has to happen.
Wow. I love talking to you. We got so many people watching. My girlfriend, Narita, Trudy, and I think I spy someone who's on, it's got a show coming on very soon. Is it this Sunday or next Sunday? The great Jamal Bryant. Hey,
You got her coming on here soon, don't you?
Yes, I do. Why did she say to me, girl, I hear you have some good cookouts. When I said, after this is over, I invite you. I said, but you can't be bringing that housewife stuff over here.
Oh,
she
my
said,
God.
No, we're not doing that. No, because you know, no. See, I'm nice on camera, Giselle. I'm nice on camera.
How did she get the cookout before me? And I'm from Baltimore. She's an outsider.
She ain't no outsider. That's my sister now. Yeah. Come on. So there she goes. She's cracking up laughing. Hey, Giselle. So listen, and someone asked the question. We are talking about what others do to us. What about our crime against each other?
Yeah, it is an amazing thing. Is that when you study criminal data, most people abuse, hurt, rape, kill who is closest to them. So there was nothing called white on white crime when 92% of white murders are in fact perpetrated by white killers. There's no such thing as brown on brown crime. It was all a part of a diabolical plan for the criminality of color. And so we have embraced that. The reality is most violent offenders who are in the penal system are not African American. Most violent offenders are Caucasian males between the ages of 18 and 32. Most of the black males who are there because of possession or intent to distribute or driving dirty, a moving violation. And so I don't want us to really hone out that most of the crimes in America are not being perpetrated by black and brown people.
But I'm talking about us on us, our crime.
No, I understand it. I just don't want to embrace the terminology of black on black crime when nobody else fits that bill.
All right. So in our time remaining, because guys, I'm telling you, during this, I've worked harder during my time home than I did at the White House. And I was working hard. I was one of the hardest working people ever in Washington, commuting 2 hours each way and then still working on the road, working at the White House and working home. I got another thing after I speak to my dear friend. But I know Saturday I had 4 back to back. But here's what I want to say, and I want to get back on Vice President Joe Biden. What I have heard over the last couple of weeks, and I want everyone to really take this seriously. Vice President Biden is going to pick who he feels will help him win and who he feels will support him, who has his back, who is a strength to his weaknesses, and someone who is who's loyal and in lockstep. And you can have a whole vast array of people, but he clearly said, and listen to this, he said, I'm going to pick a woman for vice president, for my running mate.
Yes.
He said, I'm going to pick a Black woman for Supreme Court. He made a differentiation on that.
Yes.
So I don't want you guys to get your hopes up. I know Angela, Sonny, Brittany, and Tiffany did that. They did a wonderful job on that.
Right.
But
we still going to the polls. Still going to the polls.
Still go to the polls.
Yeah.
Don't let it deter you, but hold him accountable when he's president.
That's right.
Hold this one accountable until he's out as president, or if or he gets another term. You got to hold presidents accountable.
I've read today in the British newspaper that Donald Trump is the disease and the election is the vaccine. I'm giving that to you for free. I'm giving it to you for free.
Make it rain. Make it rain. All right. And the last thing, yes. And I want to say this to you. Yes. And I love you dearly. And you've supported me. Yes. I've supported you. I've seen you in the trenches in Baltimore. And I love you. And I don't like, and for all the haters,
yes,
we all have haters. But I want to address something because you've overcome so much. And you've been very open about your journey.
Yes.
Flaws and all. How does it feel when people want to hold you accountable for your past? That's a closed chapter.
Yeah. I think it really brings to bear, it's humbling that it is not hateration. I read it as disappointment. Is that people had a greater level of expectation and are hurt from a ripped cape, that you are not Superman, that you're Clark Kent. I think that it is a part of the journey. So to say it is not warranted, I get it. Our people bleed and bleed heavy. It's hard to find leadership, whether secular or spiritual, that you can count on. I came through as a youth leader, and so a lot of people who I led and was to be an example and a model for, I let down. And that keeps me accountable to really stay on the straight and narrow. The reality is there's no preacher alive, Black or white, who has gone through as much scrutiny or battery as I have. Some of it warranted, some of it not. But I'm thankful that I'm even thought of and appreciative, and I live every day to move forward. One of the things it has taught me is the badge of a returning citizen. I've never been to jail. I've never done hard time. But I understand now, for people who have done their time and come back, how it's hard for them to get a house, hard for them to get a job, hard for them to get an opportunity, because people will hold them to what it is that they've done. And so it brings me back to the old fable, the emperor has no clothes.
Ooh, preach.
It reminds me of my humanity, that every time I go forward, that is not just me, but I have a generation who is looking for me to walk with accountability. And so they keep me honest, and so I'm grateful for it.
So I'm going to say this. I love your life now. I'm not getting into it, but I love your life right now. And I've always loved your heart for the community.
Thank you.
And I've been very honest with you. I support you in good and bad times.
And telling you, you check me when I'm wrong. It's okay.
So, but no, and that's because I love you and I love
Yeah.
your family. I mean, your mom is taking my babies in, call them bubble gum,
Yeah.
and your family has embraced me, and you have embraced me. And I mean, I'm serious. And you and I are in this community. You fought for this community, and
Right.
I just want so much for you. And I was hurt when I was on the floor for about 2 months when you left, and I was like, no, why you can't no.
Right.
But your calling is greater than this, and I see a greater calling for you. And I'm just thankful for you. I'm thankful for your ministry. I'm thankful for your word. And we all come through something. We
Yeah.
all come through something. And truth be told, the people are pointing fingers. You got one coming back or a bunch of them coming back
Right.
at you. And truth be told, you wouldn't want your stuff public. Let's be honest.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So but the bottom line is I appreciate you. I love you. I thank you for
Love you
being
more than.
honest, for uplifting us. We had church today. You just
Yes.
need to teach us how to have communion at home. And I
Yes.
need to sprinkle. I can't baptize my children. I need to throw them in the tub and do something
You better
crazy.
go get a super soaker.
Take a super. So in the name of Jesus, you are a part of God's family.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you for having me on. I value you. I love you. You know, you got a little brother that's got your back. And I like the new glasses.
You like them?
I
Yes,
do.
yes.
You're
Thank
doing it
you.
right.
Yes, yes. You got to meet the new guy.
Oh, yes. I see him in the pictures, but I'm going to wait till I come home.
He's here. He's over. He's watching in the other room.
All right.
So anyway, love you,
Love
Giselle.
you.
Hey, Giselle. Bye, Giselle. So
I'll
I love you. Take care, everyone. Keep us all in prayer. This was about tonight, about information about us. Our
Yes.
community is not being fed. We're
Yes.
told everything is okay. Don't believe the hype.
Yeah.
Stay safe. We love you. I want to see you tomorrow night, guys. We're going to have fun with Miss Lawrence.
Oh,
Another
Lord.
Atlanta.
I'm logging off. See you later.
I love him too. Bye. Bye, Pastor Jamal. Everyone, see you tomorrow night. Thank you, Pastor Jamal Bryant. Guys, love you. Stay safe. See you tomorrow night. We've got a great week. And Susie Orman is on as well as Vaughn Scales this week. So take care. I got to go to the next thing. Much love. Peace. COVID Conversations. Bye.